In conversation with me today are Nikhil Singh and Jeffrey Armstrong. Nikhil is an IIT Delhi USC Film School alumnus. He has over 15 years of experience in the Mumbai entertainment industry. He is an award-winning documentary filmmaker with films that have toured various international film festivals and won numerous awards. He is passionate about bringing civilizational stories from Bharat to a global audience. We will talk to him today about Caste Rush, his most recent work. Jeffrey Armstrong, Kavinder Rishiji, is an author, poet, relationship expert, Ayurvedic astrologer, yogi, philosopher, YouTuber. Jeffrey is a lifetime practitioner and teacher of the Vedas. Prior to teaching, he had a successful career as a Silicon Valley executive and has spent 5 years in an ashram as a brahmacharya. He is also a sought-after guest expert on TV and talk radio. Jeffrey was recently awarded the ICCR Distinguished Indologist Award in 2021 from the Government of India and the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2022 from the Canadian Hindu Chambers of Commerce. He is the author of the Decolonized Bhagavad Gita Comes Alive. He is considered one of the foremost authorities on Vedic knowledge and Hindu Vedic Sanatan Dharma and its relevance to contemporary spirituality. Indic Dialogue is the producer of the Caste Rush documentary. Indic Dialogue is an initiative and platform of Vishwam Foundation. They provide an avenue to explore ideas, issues, insights, and to facilitate an open dialogue addressing contemporary challenges. They engage people from various backgrounds to promote meaningful conversations in an environment of mutual respect. Welcome to the show, both Nikhilji and Jeffreyji. Namaste. My first question is for Jeffreyji. We're talking about caste and the caste rush. The word caste as different to Varna and Varnashram. And so how would you position the word caste to Varna, which is a Sanskrit word and which is what was used by ancient Bharat? How would you juxtapose the two in this context?
Caste, it's actually a way of casting people in a role that has nothing to do with who they really are. And it is not that our occupational abilities are passed down always in our family. In that case, we would just be exactly what our parents were. So the Vedic culture has extensive knowledge about this, which it has had for thousands and thousands of years. When colonization took place, the British imposed, and the Portuguese and the Europeans, who were stealing from everyone around the world, imposed caste. You might say they cast them in an inappropriate role.
So what you're saying, Jeffreyji, is that the preface to this conversation is that people are born with propensities or provable skill sets, and that genes or where you're born into or what family you're born into is not necessarily what we should be looking at, and that this narrative itself needs to be reframed. Nikhilji, congratulations on making the Caste Rush documentary. What do you hope to accomplish with the documentary?
As a Sanatani who is living in Bharat, we sometimes read about our culture, our country, our civilization in a very, very negative light. And lately, in the last 3 or 4 years, we just heard the most absurd things of all time. So there was the police raid on the Wax Temple in New Jersey, which had me very worried. That's when I thought that I should do something about it as an artist. So I just reached out to the Indic Dialogue people and said that, this is happening. And I said, I want to do something on this. And so we brainstormed, and then that's how Caste Rush has come into being.
So why is the mainstream media talking about caste?
The entire of Western world saw India through the British lens. In that zeitgeist, in that collective unconsciousness, there's always that first impression. The Britishers saw us condescendingly. They didn't understand the entirety of Sanatan Dharma at all. It was very, very different from what they had experienced in the world. Their first instinct was to condescend and reject it. So whenever somebody else sees Sanatan Dharma or Bharat from the lens of British, whether they want it or not. This is an inherent system bias. That hangover has persisted, and only now, when Sanatanis and Indians both are doing so well across the globe, now suddenly all of those things are being questioned, and there's a glitch in the matrix.
So, if that's correct to say that the colonial narrative sort of continues in many ways.
Yeah, and if you do not, like, I do not subscribe any motive to it. I just think they are intellectually lazy. Look at the mainstream media organizations who are completely defranchised even in the United States. I don't think you do a vox populi, ask people on the road if they trust their media. They don't. So our simple prayer to whoever listens is, if you can't trust your own mainstream media to describe you, how do you trust them to describe a culture which is quite literally seven seas away, right? So that is our only goal, so to speak.
So I understand that you're doing decolonizing work for changing this narrative, Jeffrey G. Could you tell us more about that?
Yes, and this is why it's such a pleasure and a thrill to meet Nikhil and to see what he's doing. Because anyone who's really paying attention realizes that we're in a renaissance. The planet's going to get reborn or it's going to crash and burn. It's obvious. We have all the means to destroy the whole thing right now. So I call it Divine 1-1. This is the time to bring forth the real important knowledge, the knowledge that evens the playing field, shows respect to everyone, and asks the question, could we all cooperate? That's the namaste culture, isn't it?
To answer this on behalf of Jeffrey, lately there's also a huge uh, consciousness in India on decolonizing. Most of us were earlier calling out Devtas as Lord, because in English language that day we call Sri Ram or Bhagwan Ram. We just said Lord Ram. Now we're saying, okay, this is Bhagwan, this is Namaste. We're no longer saying religion, we're saying Sanatanis and all of that. So Jeffrey was very correct when he says, and they call themselves Bharat. Because change is never easy. And there's a lot of inertia in change. So in that sense, I'll bow my head to Jeffrey G for saying this for so long time, because he has that perspective. He saw it before we saw it ourselves. So now we are beginning to see. So hopefully in a few years, that work will be completed to Jeffrey's satisfaction.
And hopefully the acharyas and gurus who've been overseeing this process in Bali will feel that they finally were listened to. Because this is the secret of healing our planet, whose name, by the way, gave us the human name, didn't it? It is Mata Bumi. This planet has a name. Her name is Mata Bumi. It was given in Bharat. It's a Sanskrit term, and human came from it. How many people who just speak English know that? And what you're doing is so wonderful, because you're now making a way for this to reach everyone, for them to reevaluate the terminology and to see the ancient secrets that are now being made available to everyone at no cost even. How wonderful.
Nikhil Ji, what is your message for the audience of Caste Rush?
I just present a model in which you can fact check yourself. And the method I've used is how you see in Hollywood movies, because that's our window to the North American society, is truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So if you take the whole caste equation, that is the as seen in Western press, what is the truth? Is discrimination based on caste real? Yes. Now, what is the whole truth? The whole truth is the society is constantly healing and evolving and changing for the better. So then the whole truth would be that it's no longer the way it is described in the Western media. There is a lot of phase lag between them and the living society that we are. So, so everyone who criticizes Sanatana on caste basis, their caste basis is still stuck in 1920s or maybe the 18th century. And and if they come to India or if they have a shared living experience in the urban cities or even rural India now, we are truly in 2025. And so trying to negate or fight that kind of a mindset is not going to happen easily or not going to happen via a film. But for people who are here and who are casual listeners and who may or may not go to India and experience this, they could see a film and they could know that, okay, you may, yes, casteism continues to exist in India, and we are just like how racism continues to exist in the West, and but how society has progressed both in the West and in the East, including Bharat, is we have come a long way. And so while we need to evolve, while we need to be better, we also need to stop condescending on the other and seeing them through that 18th century lens. We need to see Bharat and Sanatan Dharma from the 2025 lens. And to give you a very practical example, Jeffrey ji, when I was a kid, this is 20 years ago, in the wedding party, women from the groom side would not go, and it was impossible to imagine female members of our family dancing in front of our elders. Everybody joins the wedding party from the groom side, and both the families dance on the stage, right? And including the parents. So whether you agree with that change or not, wedding is a religious event. It's a sanskar. It's not a party. It's a sanskar. What big change has happened in 20 years? And there is no political leader, there is no religious figure. Nobody gave that change, whether you agree or disagree. But I'm saying this evolution has happened. So it's not a monolith. It's not a stagnant cultural practice. We as human beings are evolving, and Sanatan Dharma and its practices are also evolving with time. You may agree with some of them, you may disagree with some of them, but we are evolving. All I'm saying is please see Sanatani and Bharat of 2025. It will be hard for you to take off that lens, granted. But if you could just make a mental adjustment that this is a society in 2025 that we are talking about. So that was the original intent.
That's wonderful.
Very nice, very nice. Jeffrey G, do you have any last message for the audience of Caste Rush documentary?
Well, based on what Nikhil just said and what the rishis and sages of Bharat have told us, maybe we should not call ourselves mankind. Maybe we should be humankind. First, we'd have humility. And secondly, we'd be serving Mata Bumi because we're Bumi beings. So I view it that you, as an ambassador of the Vedic Sanatana Dharma culture, are one more symptom of the fact that it's irrepressible. The beautiful and universal Vedic Vidya. We're exploring the universe. We need to be universal. We need to see everyone with respect. We can blow it up in a minute otherwise. So I see you as a medicine man coming forth from a profound culture. And the basis of all the medical and healing skills in Bharat are what you teach. That's why it's an honor to be here with you. That everyone will see himself this way.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jeffrey G. Thank you, Nikhil Ji. To sum this up for our audience, the word caste does not come from Bharat, does not originate there. It originates from the Portuguese word casta and the Latin word castus. It's the colonial description of the Varna and the Varna ashram, which are Sanskrit words that are used by Vedic Sanatan Dharma culture. The current conversation in the Western media about caste has echoes of colonialism and perpetuating the stereotypes of slavery. So do come out with your families this August to watch the documentary The Caste Rush in your city in the United States and Canada. Educate yourself on the media propaganda in the West and do your part in busting the colonial narratives. Thank you so much. Namaste.